in terms of expenses and nature of your job, you need the winners to come in, because I suppose, you know, riding fees don't always pay the way, do they?
They do. Well, sometimes, like with the prize money is down in a lot of races, you can be racing for, like Jimmy said, in a bumper for 1,800 quid. Situations like that, if you have 2 rides in a day, you'd be getting more financially than actually going for 1 ride and having a winner or a bumper, you know. So we're relying on riding fees. Winners percentage and place percentages is just a bonus in our wages, you know. But a lot of expenses to come out to get yourself to the races. You could end up going to Catterick, Musselburgh, anywhere up north, drive the whole way up there for 1 ride, which you can't turn down, because you turn 1 ride down, 1 ride might lead to something else, so you can never turn a ride down. And if you're driving up there, it's probably costing you money on a day. I've started doing my own valeting at the races, where you're preparing your weights in your saddlebag, doing your own washing and things like that. As we're at the race course, we have valets, but I've done that to cut down the costs. I save about 4,000 a year, and you got to be doing things like that to survive, you know, to continue riding, which is my passion.
So that would also mean, in a normal situation, you'd be paying someone to do that for you. Now you've taken the decision, look, you know, I've got to be able to do that myself. Well,
the valets get 10%.
Yeah, they take. It works out more about. It's about £15 a ride plus VAT, so it's about 18.30. I think I worked it out at for your first ride and then your second ride. So if you have 2 rides a day, it's about £30, and they take 10% of your 10% when you have when you get a winner as well. You know, so as I say, I've probably about 150 rides a season. Yeah. I'm saving about 4,000 a year. Well, that pays for my fuel for the year, you know. Now,
from your point of view, I mean, you say you love riding, which is without question, and obviously you love riding as well when you were riding, Jimmy. But from your point of view, if you was a head of BHA or you're head of a particular department, is there anything you would do to improve the welfare and the income of a jockey? Is anything can be done, do you think?
To be fair to the Jockey Association, as I said earlier, the riding fee has gone up from £100 to £164, which obviously with inflation of everything, it's needed to. But what I'm always onto the Jockey Association try and press for, in most countries in the world, you get 10% down the line. Like in Ireland, you get 10% for a winner, 10% for a place, 10% for third, fourth, fifth. So if you're finishing second in a race and you're picking up £2,000, rather than getting 100 quid where you would be over here, you'd be getting £200. If you're getting 10%, and stuff like that would make a massive difference to a jockey's income, you know. So that's something I'm on to Paul Struthers and the PGA to try and press for the Owners Association.
What you're saying is a fairer spread, finishing second, third, fourth. That's what you're suggesting.
I mean, they do it in other countries. It's madness why they don't do it over here. I can't understand why. And also, I think Dale Gibson he's really, really passionate at the minute about this non-runner. If you get, you know, if Dave's going to Market Racing, say, from Lambourne, which would be 3 hours away, and he's going there for 1 ride and he's driving himself, and he gets to Leicester or gets to the races and they decide to pull it out because of the ground or because of something, well, he's had to drive all the way up there, spend 60, 70
and there's no compensation.
There's no compensation. It probably end up costing you £100 travelling up there for the day. You get up there, it's non-runner, and then you could have been earning that doing something else at home. Like I have a couple of different things going on at the minute, and you know, so that's a £200 swing, you know, when you have a non-runner, because you're losing it because you've spent it travelling up there and things. But again, you have to do that. A rule came in there 2 years ago where you were getting half the riding fee if you had a non-runner. It lasted, I think, 6 weeks, and then it pulled out. No one actually got paid. It started from January, and then they cut it out. And in the middle of February, they said, "Oh, they can't do it now." They are looking into bringing something like that back in again, and it should be. If you're booked to do a day's work in any other job, you get paid. As where here you don't. But the problem is, it's all coming back to the owners. It's the owners that are footing the bill every time, which isn't fair. But
because the punters are the people who make money out of racing. You know, we bring it back to the small runner fields. It's the punters that are moaning and groaning about this, right, and saying, "Oh, it's not fair," you know, because there's no value on horses and everything else. They don't own the horses. You know, it's the owner's prerogative to have a horse and to win a race with it. And if they want to set it up for a gamble or you know, have a few quid in it, well, they're only right to. They pay the training fees. It shouldn't be down to the punters, and it's wrong the way it works. You know, the punters are moaning and groaning about small fields, the prices are too short, you get no value, blah blah blah. But it's down to the owner. I mean, it should be down to the owners and the people connected with it. I mean, they pay the bills.
I was just going to jump in there. What does blah 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 mean?
It's usually what you say.
No, but I mean, ultimately, you're in the sport because you've got a passion for it. You love the fact that you wake up in the morning, you've got a ride in that day, and you can go and travel, you can go and ride out the horse and do your best.
If you know you have a good ride on a certain day, a lot of my horses that I ride probably generally don't have a chance when they run, but when I wake up and I have a ride I fancy and I think will run well, you know, you jump out of bed in the morning, and that's my passion. I want to ride for as long as I can. You know,
he gets kicked out of bed by the enemy.
Before we go, David, very quickly, because we won't have you on before Cheltenham, is there anything that you would like to? I'll ask this question again. If you were given the opportunity to ride at Cheltenham, is there only one horse that you go, yeah, really like?
The new one for me. I see him at Twistons every day. He's just grown. Every week I go up there, I see him, and he's just physically grown. He's built like a sprinter. He has some backside on him, and like he's a powerhouse. And he's a great turn of foot. It's going to be a very tactical race, and everything will have to pan right. But
so it would be a new one.
It would be the new one.
And our panel agreed with that a couple of weeks ago.